I want to thank you for joining us in yet another podcast. And today I would like to speak on how to succeed at New Year's resolution. And I would like to start by pointing to a research that was done by John Norcross. He's a researcher on New Year's behavior change, and he works as a clinical psychologist at the University of Scranton in Pennsylvania. And he did this study of 400 people. The people in this study automatically fell into one of three groups. So the first group is people who made no resolution to change at all. This doesn't mean that they were functional. Sometimes people can be comfortable in their dysfunction as well. So these people wanted no change in their life. The second group of people resolved to make changes in their lives at different times than at New Year. And then the third group were the people who made New Year's resolution. And what he found is that the second group, people who made resolution at another time of the year, half of them remained successful after 2 weeks. And then this dropped to 4% after 6 months. But with people who made resolution on the New Year's, that 71% was successful after 2 weeks. 46% were successful after 6 months. So this is 46% after 6 months compared to 4% of people who made resolutions at other time of the year. And I think this is very, very important because I think that there is a psychological advantage that you can garnish by making your resolution at the change of a year. There's something there about the change of a year that calls for something new, that calls for change. It's a new year, and our psychological state is set up for change. So if you can learn how to capitalize on that change, you can become very, very successful. So today I want to speak on some strategies that you can use as you make your New Year's resolution for this year. And so for this coming new year, I should say. And so the first strategy is to use self-regulation, not self-control. And so this is a very, very key point because many people try the self-control route. So, the self-control, an example of self-control would be, you're sitting watching your favorite movie and you're trying to lose weight and, you have this bag of chips that's just staring you in the face and, you have vowed not to eat anything more for the day, but that bag of chips is just right there. It's like it's calling your name, and you can't resist it and you go and you get that bag of chips. Now, that's trying to use self-control. You're trying to muster up as much energy as possible not to give in to that impulse. But how about if we use self-regulation? And using that analogy, what self-regulation involves is that you would plan not to have that bag of chips in your presence available to you at that time of the day. So self-regulation thinks ahead of what it is that you're trying to achieve and plan so that you are not tempted to fall. And so if you're just relying on self-control and you're putting yourself into situations, another example of how this might play out is someone who is saying, for this year, I'm going to give up smoking cigarettes or I'm going to give up using drugs. But then you are hanging out with people who are using drugs. You're hanging out with people who are smoking cigarettes. And you're buying cigarettes and you have cigarettes in your possession. It's no surprise that that amount of control that you're going to have to muster up to overcome those temptations is going to be very great. So use self-regulation instead. Self-regulation say, I am planning ahead. I know that I will fail if I put myself in certain situation. So I am going to regulate. Stop bringing chips into your home. If it's to stop drinking alcohol, don't buy alcohol and take it home. Regulate your emotion so that you don't end up falling to temptation. The second thing in having success at New Year's resolution is to plan for setbacks. Many of us, we make these unrealistic expectations. I'm going to lose 5 pounds a week for the next 10 weeks, and I'm going to get those 50 pounds, extra 50 pounds off. And so we might succeed the first week, we excited, and then that second week we fail and our dreams are shattered and we go right back to the old habits because we have this sense that we have failed. But how about if you were to change your mindset? And so you said, no, I have failed this week, but that 5 pounds that I lost the first week, that is still an achievement. So I'm not going to give up. This was just a mere setback. I am going to keep pushing for the next week. And so many of us, we give up because we do not plan for setbacks. And I think it's very important that if you are going to succeed at New Year's resolution, that you plan for failure. You plan that there are going to be times when you don't meet your objectives. But don't let that stop you. Don't let that discourage you. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and try again. And the third point is to think in terms, not just in terms of what you want to lose, but what is it that you want to gain. And that's very, very key, because if you think, using the weight analogy, if you think I want to lose 5 pounds a week, that does nothing for the part of your brain that deals with motivation. All that is saying is that it's a number. You want to lose 5 pounds. But why is it that you want to lose that 5 pounds? How will your life be different? What are some of the things that you'll be able to enjoy if you are able to lose the weight that you set out? So some of the things you could gain, for example, using the weight analogy, is that you can gain better health. I plan to gain better health. I want to be able to go on a hike with my children or with my friends. I want to be able to run a 5K. These are things that you can gain. Don't think just in terms of what you can lose. Think in terms of what you will gain from the process. And this is simple. But when I sit with my clients and we plan for goals and we use this strategy, it makes a big difference. And the fourth and final point is to use visualization. Visualization is very powerful. And there's this saying that a picture is worth 1,000 words. But there's something about pictures that if you can create a picture of what it is that you want to achieve, and keep that picture in your mind, keep it in your consciousness, you stand a much better chance of achieving it. So visualization can simply be as simple as closing your eyes. Imagine yourself losing that weight. Imagine yourself running in that 5K that you want to run on. Imagine yourself hiking with your children, doing something that you can't do right now. Visualize it. And key principles of visualization is that as you visualize, think about the pictures that you can see, the colors, who are there, who is at the finish line, cheering you across when you run that 5K? What are the sounds that you're hearing as you run that 5K? Even the smells. What is it that you can feel? You can feel the sweat dripping off your body as you run to that finish line. Make visualization real, and you will unlock your subconscious so that you can achieve the goals that you have in mind. So there you have it, the strategies for having a successful New Year's resolution. I want to thank you for being with us on this video. And I want to encourage you, if you have not subscribed to this channel, please consider doing so, because we have new content that's going up all the time. But you also will help us to reach others by subscribing. We also want to remind you that you can become a Patreon or a supporter of our ministry by going to patreon.com, and by becoming a Patreon for as little as $5 monthly. We also want to remind you that you can find out more about us at our website, elimcounselingministry.com. Elim is spelled E-L-I-M, counseling with two L's, ministry.com. And so until next time, this is Michael Hart, praying that God would bless you in all your relationships and keep you sound in mind and pure in heart.